to a special Thanksgiving edition of the Burress Law Life and Friends podcast, episode 33, with my trusty partners, Brian Mincher, Kyle Hale, and I always like it when it's us three doing a podcast because we always sort of meander off the track.
Yeah. What are we going to talk about? We'll see.
Yeah, there's no idea where this is going right now.
There's no idea. But it is the Thanksgiving episode, and man, I'm thankful for sure. I mean, we've got a year under our belt in the new building. We're just about to get the automatic lock system and the code system, and we sit here in year 2 with the what do you call that? The realtor lock.
The realtor lock, what I call it.
Yeah,
the realtor box.
It's a struggle, but we're about to get there. So, but that has not stopped us from obtaining some very good results. What do you think about that?
We've had pretty good results here recently. I've got a few I scribbled down when we talked about doing this.
Well, let's before we get into the particulars. I mean, I think we've had more 7-figure results this year than in the past 3 years combined. Now, would that surprise y'all?
No, I don't think that would surprise me.
There's a bunch of 7-figure results.
Yeah, we're getting bigger cases.
Yeah.
I only handle catastrophic cases, but that's because the case is catastrophic to my client, no matter how big or small it is.
That's right.
And I try and treat them all that way. But yeah, we've seen some big ones and some fun ones, interesting, fun facts about what happened. And
I thought you were about to say that you've been sending the soft tissue cases for me to handle, so I was trying to figure out where he's going with that. But
no, we have younger attorneys in the office.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we've done some freaking phenomenal business this year, gotten great results for clients. Man, what a killer team.
No, we've had a good year, a good quarter in particular, and the new building's been great. I love having people come over. When we have clients that want to sign up through Zoom, sometimes we'll do that because it's a convenience for them. But I so prefer having somebody come in and see this building. It's easier to close a deal when somebody walks in, and it's easier to make them realize you know what you're talking about when you can just kind of look around and say, hey, these things that you're seeing here, the marble and whatnot, didn't come by accident. And it just, I don't know, it makes it a little more gravitas to the meeting or something like that.
I guess I've never thought about that. I don't know. To me, it's just like there's so much more room, so many more meeting spaces that it's nice to be able to see. Like, it's a lot brighter than the old
for
one.
sure.
Well, I love the old building, but we were in 3 different locations within 100 yards from each other, and that makes it hard.
Yeah, the old building was great, and it'll always be partial to me. It's a building that I started in, but it was darker with the wood paneling, and not paneling, but all the wood that was in there. This place is just so bright. It's hard to have a bad mood around here for me. Like, you just walk around and you want to smile and be happy, and you can see everybody, you can see the team, and yeah, it's great. Yeah,
the old building seems like it was built more in the old school paper chase law firm type of mindset, whereas this is very, very modern. And like Kyle says, you can't hardly walk in here and not be in a good mood. It's just an uplifting sort of color scheme and everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess before we get into some cases that we want to talk about, maybe I'll think of a couple too. We have killers on the team through and through. Any MVPs for Rookie of the Year? How about that? Rookie of the Year?
I'm pretty proud of our latest hire, frankly. We put her to work today when we were bringing somebody else in that we thought we might be wanting to make an offer to. But Kristen has come in and done a really good job. I think she's been very, very personable. She has picked up the business quickly. She's an absolute sponge amongst the attorneys. And then I know that we're talking about one of our latest pickups this morning. There was a non-attorney that you said even managed to impress Trisha, which is no small feat. Yeah. So I'd like to brag on Victoria as well.
What about you?
Yeah, I would echo those two. Kristen's just a lot of fun to train. if you call it that. You forget what it's like to be a young lawyer. You forget how much stuff you don't know, and so it's kind of refreshing to me to go, oh yeah, I remember when Kelly Crane taught me how to do that, and now I'm teaching her how to, but it's a lot of fun. I do kind of like training the young attorneys when we get an opportunity to do that. But, and you get to mess with them a little bit, right? And if you're not messing with them, then they're not going through the rite of passage. So,
well, very good. All right. What about some results?
I scribbled down 3 of them that 2 of them are pretty good size. One of them is a fun story. So one of them I wanted, and I'm just going to give people's initials because I can't recall which of these that I have signed away rights on to telling stories, but all 3 of these are well up in the 6 figures, and KC, the first one I'll talk about, the best case I have had this year as far as how much the medical bills were and how much the settlement was. We got 12 times the medical bills on this case in resolution, and it was just under $1 million final resolution. She had the good fortune to get hit pretty hard by a commercial vehicle, and the fella who was driving the commercial vehicle, not that great of a guy, as it turned out, and our Cracker Jack team was able to find out several things about him that were good for our case and not so good for the commercial entity that he was driving for. And we actually managed to get that done without even having to file a lawsuit, which just never happens to get that kind of a ratio pre-suit, at least for me. I usually get those kind of numbers at mediation or on the eve of trial. So I was very, very tickled about that. Best cash flowing case that I will have all year, no matter what happens the rest of the year.
All right, so tell us about this. What case you want to talk about?
I guess we'll talk about the Weaver trial. Rachel and I tried in front of Judge Christine Novak back in March.
I'm sorry, I was just clearing my throat. Anybody say something? Little inside joke there.
Little one. But anyway, Rachel, I'll give her all the credit in the world, worked it up pre-suit very well, along with the legal legend Tricia Miller. And so I actually came on late because I picked the file up when Rachel went out for maternity leave. And it was a good case, good damages model, liability was clear, and Progressive was doing what Progressive does, which is offer you next to nothing.
Yep.
And on the eve of trial, they sent over an offer for $120 something dollars. And it got sent back faster than it got sent over here as a no, and they were incredulous. I can't believe you're turning down this generous offer. Well, the client had $90,000 worth of medical expenses. They couldn't believe we weren't going to take it. We went and tried it for 2 days. It was a tough trial for me. I didn't take care of myself very well. I didn't eat right. I didn't,
Well, you never eat during trial.
I know.
The only thing you do is you'll have like a bar.
Yeah.
And
so
lots of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that kind of, I learned a lesson. You learn something in trial. I learned I got to quit doing that. But the jury came back at 487, 485, something like that. So over 4 times what they offered us.
Yeah.
Pre-suit.
It's just a great result. I got to be there and see that unfold, and I just thought it was like a really good result.
Can I share our trial secret? If anyone ever has nothing to do and wants to watch us come try a case, if Burress is not trying it with me, he is texting me throughout the entire trial. And when he realizes that my phone is in my briefcase and I'm not looking at it, he starts texting Tricia. And Tricia's handed me her phone.
Yeah, I got lots of advice that Kyle never sees. But, boy, it's hard to sit on the sidelines.
Yes, it is. It's
You
very
do
hard.
you do a good job of sitting on the sidelines. I'll give you credit, but that does happen. So.
Yeah, that's true. No, it was such a tremendous result, and and it goes back to you can be the best lawyer in the world, but if you misevaluate like your client's likability score or something like that, you can be in trouble. And that's one of those cases that made sense because you had a client that was very likable and on the younger side, as I recall.
She did a great job too. If you've never done it, walking into a courtroom and testifying is, and especially when you're 23, 24 years old, and she handled it beautifully.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, speaking of young people, and I want to keep the name, there's no confidentiality, but I want to keep the names secret because one, this young lady worked here as an intern, and second, I know her family very well.
Yep.
And, you know, she's been a scholarship recipient and things like that. So, you know, but it's a 7-figure result, and we got overpaid on that case. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. I was doing the math when we were on a break, and the result was 22.38 times the medical expenses. 22 times the medical expenses. That is, that's not a record. It's
in the ballpark.
It's
and it's so, you know, it was a commercial case. It was sort of a I don't want to call it a side swipe because I think that'd be underselling what it was. But it's like on a 2-lane roadway, and our client's in the inside lane, and the truck comes over like this and sort of pinches the vehicle between the truck and the concrete median. And so, but it just, you know, wasn't one of those T-bones or rear ends, and God help us, and I'm so happy it wasn't a frontal collision. It's like the best of the possibilities,
right? Which
is side to side.
Yep.
And, you know, so there was a hospital visit. And then largely after that, it was physical therapy and a little bit of neurology. I think we might have had one injection, but to get that, you know, 7-figure result on, you know, just not a lot of medicals. And always, you know, things have to happen there.
Right.
We had Dreyer working on that case. We had Rachel working on that case, and I worked on that case. And man, just a fantastic result. And, you know, we got that result. I think it was settled the day before trial. I mean, we went to the pretrial. Let me put we went to the pretrial, and then the trial was starting, I think, on a Tuesday. And I think it settled so late Monday that we had to show up Tuesday for the start of the trial. And then boom, there it was. And then on top of that, we haul off and get UIM added to it. I couldn't believe it. Like, I was just stunned. And I remember telling the client, we're never going to be able to get any. And then, you know, it's one of those things. Man, that's a great result.
It's surprising, probably to an outsider, how often the great results come at the 11th hour, 11th, 58th minute of the 11th hour.
But I could have told you that was coming in that case. Like, there was no real big I mean, there was a surprise that it was that good, but there was no surprise that we were going to do good because of a series of things. Whereas, you know, if there's a tougher case that we have in the office, we know it's a tougher case. We know why it's a tougher case, right. And we know that client needs to resolve that case, or we are going to have a really big problem. And I just don't feel like our firm has any issues whatsoever in calling balls and strikes on these cases and fairly evaluating what they're worth.
No, I would agree. I think one of the reasons for that is not all of us, but a vast majority have a defense background, and then we're used to evaluating it now from both sides, and it's rare that we don't call the right ball or the right strike. I mean, it's exceedingly rare.
And I guess we'll go the other way around, because that really leads into this plane crash case that we just finished. I think we have confidentiality on it, so though I don't think that extends to me, just in case, I won't say any numbers. But it was 14 plus times the medical expenses, and it was a very good number. And we fought them on liability. Obviously, you helped me on that case, yep. Tricia helped me on that case, and I thought it was ridiculous that we fought it, but we fought on liability, we fought on damages, and they got the defense got all of their experts struck at the last second, and there was a really great mediator's proposal that was accepted. But on the other hand, we really fought with the client on it, where the client didn't want to accept it, and you're looking at your client and saying, by any metrics, by any way you can evaluate this case, you need to resolve this, because there's no way that we win this case any bigger at trial. And one of the reasons why is because largely, unless there's one little thing that can happen, it's really rare, you're not going to recover your expenses. So all the money you spend on expert witnesses, you can't get those back.
Right.
If there's an offer of settlement, you could do a counter, and there's one little way, but it doesn't happen very often. And so people don't understand that sometimes, but I feel like we're running into a day and age where we have a little bit more of clients thinking differently, and you're wondering why, because I don't know if it's AI or what they're doing, but it's like, boy, this is a fantastic result. What are you waiting for?
Yeah. Yeah, in the old days, it was always somebody's cousin, or I know this so-and-so. There's always somebody that had their ear telling them things that they wanted to hear that you didn't want them hearing, that wasn't beneficial to resolving the case in a reasonable manner. And I am afraid that cousin has been replaced by Grok or Perplexity or the AI of their choice. The problem with that, of course, is half the time it lies to you. The other half the time you can write the question up in such a way to get the answer you want.
Yeah. And as I was talking to the daughter in that case, and it's because I think the daughter's going to end up working for us. And I think that's great. But as I'm talking with the daughter, I realized pretty quickly that I'm not talking to the daughter. I'm talking to AI. I mean, that's what I'm doing.
Right.
And it's hard, because at the end of the day, I mean, we can tell these war stories of fantastic results, but gosh, you got to listen to us, because we know what we're talking about, and we are not going to leave any meat on the bone. If we can get more, I mean, we will go get it. But there's times when you say, hey, look, this is the number, and we would be very foolish to walk away. The other thing I liked about that plane crash case is we had not one but two videos of it. And the interesting thing on liability, they were trying to say that, we had time to perceive and react and potentially avoid or lessen the impact of the plane that went into the roadway, right? I mean, wasn't that cool?
the liability defense, and you see it from time to time, is I don't understand why they were taking the position they were taking, but they basically took the Happy Gilmore defense.
You shouldn't have been
shouldn't have been standing there. That was, I'm like, so let me get this straight. You did this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, and this wrong. And my client shouldn't have been standing there, right? That's the whole problem.
Yeah. Or even better, even better than that. It's like, if you just would have been going 4 miles an hour less for 5 seconds, your vehicle would have been in a different spot. It wouldn't have collided with the plane. Wait, what?
Yeah. So.
But anyway, I was glad to resolve that. And sometimes we recommend what we call structured settlements to clients, and there's such a tax benefit because all that growth is not taxed, and so but it has to go from the insurance company directly to the annuity without hitting our trust account. That's the rule. I'll tell you, when my family was involved in a crash and there was a settlement, we did it. And so I always start by telling clients, look, I don't get anything from this. There's no incentive. I'm just trying to protect you, and I think this is really smart. But I also find that, on both those occasions, I really did think a structured settlement made a ton of sense, and we didn't get it. Neither one of them wanted to do it. What are y'all's feelings about that?
The first case I brought up, we tried to hand her about $400,000 cash, and she insisted on putting $300,000 of it in a structured settlement after we had that discussion.
Oh, that's great.
She has a good job, and she's young, and it's going to end up getting her dozens and dozens of extra thousands of dollars that will grow without her having to be punished for it. So it's huge.
Well, because a lot of times too, it's not only that it's growing tax-free, but people are not good money managers.
No, you not being able to grab it helps too. Yeah, right.
Well, and even, by law, you're an adult at 18. I just ain't comfortable. Boy, ain't comfortable. Thrall, Texas comes out of you every now and then. Handing 18-year-olds large sums of money, because I know what I would have done.
Yeah.
I would have had the baddest Z71 pulling a bass boat in Austin, Texas, if you gave me a bunch of money at 18 years old.
I would have bet it all on red, or bet it all on the underdog horse. What do you call it? The dark horse? The dark horse.
Yeah,
whatever
there you
it is.
go. Yeah.
We've done some trifecta that would have never have worked out.
Yeah, so the annuity, it's a great option, and I push it whenever I can. There's so many things you can do with it. Mm-hmm. You can pay out some at 18, some at 25, some at, different. It's just a great option.
Especially for college-age students or kids that are going to be in college, and you have it start paying, monthly for expenses, and then on top of that, maybe do a payment each semester, twice a year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just great. Any other cases that you want to touch on?
Yeah, that leads right into Tom's. And this is a fun one because I don't have confidentiality, so I can tell you about everything.
Lay it on me.
And Tom was actually one that we're doing the annuity for, but he's a local high school teacher here. And I learned this term from you. The defendant was a left-hand loser.
Yeah.
Left-hand turn loser. Pulls left in front of Tom. But he didn't do the shouldn't have been standing there defense, but he did the my brakes weren't working defense and everything else right up until the time that we got a local business that had video of the crash. And magically on the video, everything worked and you just pulled out into traffic when it was not protected. But Tom's a great guy, and a great family, and I had Trisha working with me on that one, and he had 3 surgeries: hernia surgery, knee surgery for a meniscal tear, and a fusion of his neck.
Ouch, 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 ouch.
He had other injuries to, he had a head injury. He saw a neurologist for that, upper back and lower back, as well as the other stuff. We sent that demand off, and the first offer was $285,000.
$285,000.
And I said, let's just file suit. Sometimes you want to negotiate when it makes sense. It didn't make sense here. The case was much bigger. Got into litigation. I got to actually depose the bad guy, he's not a bad guy. He's a young kid, but he made a mistake and caused the crash. We never even put Tom up for his deposition. And after that, they tendered a full $1.5 million for Mr. Wales. So super proud of the work. I'm happy with the annuity because it's going to look even bigger in the end. But
And are you still working on another part of that case, or
we're still working on the UIM.
We'll make it bigger?
We're going to make it bigger. But yeah, it was a fantastic result, and you hate at times to get good results with Trisha because I'm worried we're going to have to make the doors around here bigger because her head will get a little. I'm teasing. She's going to see this and give me a hard time. But no.
I don't know if you've seen the viewing ratings. So I wouldn't necessarily think that's absolutely true, but
it would be possible for her to dodge it if she tried hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a great guy. He's back working at school and doing the honorable teacher thing. You know about that.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. That's awesome.
What about you?
I've got one that I want to talk about that's at the other end of the spectrum. It's great to come in here and, I got 15 times meds, I got 20 times meds. This one, I got 1.5 times meds. And I got it on a mediator's proposal after we fought this thing out against a local big box store for months and months and months. Filed suit, fought them out for a full other year, deposed everybody, and this is one of those situations where the video came out and it did not look good for us at all.
Is it like something that falls?
It
from
was
the
something
shelf?
that fell.
Okay.
But the problem in this particular case was whenever they provided us the video, something did potentially fall, because he was lifting it. And so the video being a little bit fuzzy, we tried to make it look fuzzy. It was one of those deals where it's very clearly your client, and you're kind of squinting and pretending like you don't recognize who's in the video. Sometimes the video can come out and make your case, and sometimes the video can come out and make you wish there wasn't a video. And this was one of those. We got 1.5 times the meds, ended up being just a little under $200,000 on pure meanness, stubbornness, and refusing to go away until they paid us enough to do so. Liability was a bit questionable. Damages was more than a bit questionable. They hired every doctor in the world that they could, and they did a good job of doing so. And it was a tooth and nail fight with them and with the client, who was convinced he was going to retire off the proceeds of this case. And the truth of the matter was, a 2x4 slipping and falling 6 or 8 inches is not the sort of thing that's likely to retire anybody. But it was one of those deals where I think we did a better job on this case than I did on the first case that I told you about. I know more about this case. I worked harder on this case. It was harder to get this result than it was the great big one that we had earlier, because when I've got a commercial driver who's got a bad driving history, may have been driving the night of, flees the scene, I can get big money without, honestly, just doing magical things. This one required magical things to even get the thing done, much less get the thing done with a happy client who had to go from I'm retiring off of this to, okay, I'm getting enough to get a new car off of this. And I'm telling you right now, that was a harder fought case. We put in more effort to get that one, and I'm prouder of that result, even though the other number is 6 times bigger. So
Wow.
Sometimes those count too, and a lot of times, we love the big sexy cases and the, all those sort of things. But the reality is, anybody can get good money on a big sexy case. Taking a case that 9 out of 10 people would give up on, not take it all, bail out on the client when they realize how bad it is, and then sticking it out and still getting the client a good result, getting all the providers paid. To me, that's one of those things that when you go to a CLE, they don't talk about those cases. Whenever lawyers sit around and talk and have these discussions, they don't talk about those cases. But I think those cases are where you really make your money, and in the sense of earning it. So
my favorite settlement, and you guys will remember this once I start talking about it, was a $50,000 settlement. And it's because opposing counsel was the south end of a northbound donkey and fighting me tooth and nail. And if he wanted to fight me in the parking lot, and I'm intentionally not going to say his name, but y'all know exactly who it was. And when I said I'm going to tender that policy through gritted teeth, I was like, I'm coming to pick up the check personally, and you can hand it to me.
Yeah. I had one of those. Yeah, I've had some of those too. And one in particular that where I went to their office to have the check handed to me. And boy, that felt really good.
Oh, it does. Oh. I don't do it often, but
No.
I remember those.
And to be honest, those are few and far between. I think we, in general, get along, or professional. Not that, no one's unprofessional is not what I'm trying to say, but you can do things the easy way or the hard way. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, I think we get the easy way because of how professional we are to the other side. And that's a good experience for the client. When the attorneys are getting along and moving the thing in the same way, your client's seeing something different than if you're fighting tooth and nail with that other lawyer all the time. Yeah. But sometimes it's just unavoidable.
Yeah. I thought that plane crash case, it was, man, we were grinding gears with the other side. It was pretty tough there. Boy, that was one-way traffic too. I mean, I'm sorry, but you got all your experts struck. I mean, that was. I mean, how many times
did experts, right? It was multiple, right?
Oh, the many experts, 5,
6?
maybe 6.
Yeah.
But how many times did I say the number? Like we have to ask for this.
5 times.
5 times. And that's what it. I just knew in my heart of hearts, I knew what we had to do to set it up to get them struck, and we did what I thought we needed to do 5 times. And did it just perfectly, and
Without a hearing.
Say again?
Let's say without a hearing.
Without
the
a
court
hearing.
struck it just by reading the motion.
Struck all their experts without a hearing. I mean, just unbelievable.
For anyone watching that doesn't recognize the importance of that never, ever, ever happens. That's exceedingly rare.
Yeah. No, it was It was a good one. Well, let's bring in the Chicken Express and the two waters, one that's empty, and cheers to another good year. And
Cheers indeed.
You guys didn't ask, but my vote for Rookie of the Year, even though she may not be a rookie, she might be like inching into her second year. But and I'm not going to give names because competitors might be watching. They may be one of the many viewers, but. TM is your Rookie of the Year, and also TM is your MVP, but those are not necessarily the same people, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, and I second that. Both TMs had great years, and I agree. Rookie TM may not be technically a rookie, but I think I would still.
I think we're going to throw the Major League Baseball rules where you get to play so many games and then you're still a rookie the next year.
Redshirted her?
Yeah.
It's going to be funny that our competitors are going to call up the front desk and be like, so can I speak with TM?
Which one?
And let me tell you, if I answer the phone, I'm going to hang up because when you said TM, it took me about 15 seconds to figure out who y'all were talking about.
There you have it. Our favorite cases, big results, and one tough one in there. So it's been a pleasure. This may or may not be the last podcast of the year. I'm betting it's not going to be. I'm betting we've got one more in us, but that's it for now. Thanks for watching or listening on your favorite podcast channel, Burress Law Life and Friends podcast, episode 33. We'll see you next time.